Hi, I'm Rabbi Jeremy Gordon from New London Synagogue,
I'm Cantor Jason Green from New London Synagogue.
and welcome to another Rant and Chant, or Rant and Chant. And we're gonna do some Hanukkah stuff. The really interesting thing for me, as the rabbi, as opposed to the singer, about Hanukkah is what's going on historically. So minus 166, you've got this kind of Hellenist Jewish environment. You've got Antiochus Epiphanes, who wants things to be done Hellenistically. I don't mean to be too anti-French, but a bit like you would kind of get in modern France, that, you know, you can't wear the burqa, you can't do this, you can't wear outward signs of being different from the prevailing culture. And that actually what's going on historically, if you read First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, Josephus, is there's a kind of civil war between Jews who like that, who want to be part of this sort of Hellenistic world, rejecting things like Judaism and being ashamed of the Jewish thing. Right, the classic thing is they wanted to kind of stitch back on a foreskin so that they could work out in the naked gymnasia as the Hellenists, and the Zealots and the pure Jews who wanted to kind of hold on to what they were doing Jewishly. Civil war, or the war of the Jews against the. That sentence often doesn't get finished, right? You know, is it Hasmoneans? Is it Greek? I mean, who knows?
Syrians, yeah.
The Syrians, the Ptolemies, the Seleucids. It's all rather confusing, resulting in a great victory for the Zealots and the rededication of the temple. And the Hebrew word for rededication is Chanukah. I'm gonna share. This is pretty well everything that the Talmud has to say on Hanukkah, which is, for those of you who know the Talmud, odd, because usually the Talmud has a lot more to say on just about anything. One light, say our rabbis, for a person and their household. And then the Mahadrin, so sometimes you'd hear this word in association with kashrut, right? You know, there's kashrut, and then there's the extra level. They would light one light for each person in their household, right? So you get one for you, for your wife, and for your kids. And then the Mahadrin, Mina Mahadrin, the super frummest of all, there is now a machloket, there's a disagreement, where Bet Shammai says that you light 8 candles on the first day and go all the way down, something that I have never seen, but actually makes sense.
Shammai.
Right. Well, right. But if you think about it, if you have a vial of oil, and it's full on the first day, there'll be 7/8 of it on the second day and 6/8 of it on the second day. So Shammai, as normal, is completely sensible, but deemed wrong. Hillel goes 1 on the first day, and then you go up because of the doctrine. Right, Ve'ein Moradim, that the world has to get better.
Right.
Hey, it's 2016. The good news is the world has to get better. That you go up in terms of how many lights that you light. But what's so interesting is that it's not the standard teaching, it's not the Mahadran teaching, it's the Mahadran of the Mahadran, and it's Bet Hillel within the Mahadran of the Mahadran. I think from this we learned that olive oil was very expensive. And that if you couldn't afford enough olive oil to do 44 candles worth, you could do it with 8 candles worth. And the level of poverty which you need to be at for that to be a play for you is just kind of important, I think, to sort of reflect on, particularly in a culture where, Hanukkah gifts that are demanded by small children have zeros on the end of them.
Yes, they do.
Do you want to say something about lighting how this is done?
Sure. I have a couple of tricks to remember. And actually, just to start with, to say that it's very difficult to demonstrate this to people, especially on the other side of the screen, because there's a question of who's facing which way and so forth. So I found that the best way is really for me to get up and go to the other side of the table and demonstrate. But the idea is, I'm not going to do that because it might not be as easy to watch. But I'll face the Chanukah towards the camera and our viewers, so that it's as if they're looking at the Chanukah in their windowsill. And I'll do this backwards.
They're outside the house.
They're inside the house.
But they're by the window.
See why it's confusing?
Very confusing. Well,
so
actually,
let me just demonstrate. Let's just So basically, my windowsill is here,
right,
and I've put the Chanukah in the windowsill. So now I am. Yeah, I guess this will work. Everyone see okay? Okay. So my tricks to remembering how to do this are that you put the candles in the Chanukah from left to right, the same way you put the letters in the Torah scroll. Okay. Good. So you put them in. Sorry, did I say left to right? I meant right to left.
Right to left.
Let's not mess this up. So looking at the Chanukah, put it in the right and move to the left, just like we write letters in Hebrew. And of course, we could put the shamash in. It doesn't have to go in first, it can go in last. There we go. And then when we light the candles, we always light the birthday candle first. We give it its due honor. And so lighting the shamash, of course, comes first. And then we say the brachot. And then once we've said the brachot, we continue lighting from left to right, the newest candle first. And I'm going to come back to the end of the table. And just imagine that the shamash is lit. And on the first night of Chanukah, ta-da! We have 3 brachot to say. The first is the blessing, of course, on the mitzvah of lighting the Chanukah. The second is the blessing over recognizing the miracles that God's done for us throughout the ages. And of course, the third is, as we often do, the first time we do an act that is a mitzvah each year, we say the Shechianu. So, one melody is this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. We go on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh. And the Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. And then we take the shamash out and light from the first night. We'd light the one candle. Of course, the other nights we wouldn't say the Shehecheyanu, and we light the newest candle first and then work our way back from left to right. Don't put that down on the table.
I feel like it's Hanukkah already. It's a little before Hanukkah now. Really nice. Couple of thoughts. One is there is actually a disagreement in halakhic authorities as to the second blessing, right? Where the way that you did it, which I'm pretty sure is the way that appears here, is good, right? So the way that you did it was she'asa nisim lavotenu, who did miracles for our ancestors, bayamim hahem Vazman hazeh,
right.
In those days at that time.
Right.
But in Hebrew we don't have a different word for that and this.
Right.
Because the other textual variant is Bayamim hahem, in those days, Vazman hazeh,
right.
And in this time.
Right.
Now that's very, very interesting.
Yes.
Because it means, I much prefer that second version, because it means that the miracle of Hanukkah is an ongoing, it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? The lights continue to burn ad hayom hazeh, even to this time, and it becomes less a single moment in Jewish history and more the continued religious experience of experiencing light at a time of darkness, or realizing that you have enough when you don't think that you have enough. And I think those things are really interesting.
Indeed, and I think popular culture would tend towards that as well. We have Peter Yarrow and don't let the light go out. You have don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years.
Good. Right.
That's
And
the idea.
And the idea in the synagogue that we have. So if this is the original oil. We'll talk a bit more about this in a second. The original oil was the oil for the Ner Tamid, right, for the everlasting light, which we still have burning in our synagogues, right? And of course, historically, the whole rededicated temple thing did not go well. The Maccabees and their generations as priests were not considered to be kind of pure paragons of holiness. It all started getting, there was horse trading over who became the chief Cohen. It was all a bit of a mess. But if you see it as being a momentary success, it was a failure. But if you see it being uvazman hazeh, it can actually become a success, which I think is interesting.
Very nice.
The other thing that you just mentioned was the windowsill. So this is a very important halachic issue with, I think, a really interesting New London synagogue ramification. Right? So what you're referring to is the halachic obligation of pirsum hanes, If you go into contemporary Israel and ask someone what's a pursumet, they'd say it's an advert, right? But the broadcasting of the miracle, you are supposed to broadcast this miracle happened, and that's a kind of interestingly bold thing to do. You put your Hanukkah candle in the window so that everybody sees, hey, I'm Jewish, and in that language of another idiom, I'm out and I'm proud, right? And if you go to Israel, you'll see them in the doorposts, in the doorways, with the mezuzah on the right-hand side as you go in, and the menorah on the left-hand side on the floor. And if you walk through the Meir Sharons, and you see this beautiful mezuzah, Chanukiot on the floor. But, and this is the interesting piece, the halacha is, in days of danger, you don't need to put your Hanukkah in the window, right? You can put your Hanukkah on the table. Now there are some who say that the entire ikar, the entire essence of Hanukkah is Pirsum Hanes, and therefore to change that, as happens within normative halacha, is exceptionally radical. And the Mazurti story is that when Rabbi Louis Jacobs, the founder member of New London Synagogue, was a young boy, and his first interaction with the historical unfolding nature of Judaism, the notion that Judaism does unfold and evolve over time, he kind of, somebody gave him a book and he went home and he thought about it, and in his diary he said, I've been thinking about examples of this, and this was one of them, right? That we don't do Pirsum Hanes, we don't put the Hanukkah in the window in a time of danger. The other one is marrying small children, which of course we also don't do. But it's very, very interesting. But I encourage me and my family and us and all of us to be more out over Hanukkah. Sometimes when we've been around, we put stuff in the windows, like a big, we cut out these sort of, like a big Hanukkah. I think actually Chabad, Chabad are very good at this. Here we are, we're Jews, we're doing Pirsum Hanes in these kind of huge Hanukkahot, with the dignitaries of the age, in very, very public spaces. I think it's a really interesting way, because if we teach ourselves to be almost Morano, right? I mean, then we lose our ability to be joyful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
I want to talk about the next bit in the liturgy on the on the lighting, because it's very, very interesting. The big miracle of Hanukkah is the military success.
Right.
And in the addition into Grace After Meals and in the Amida, we do talk about the military success. Al Hanissim V'al HaPorkan, so on the miracles and the miracles, Al Hanissim V'al HaPorkan, V'al HaGvura, and the military might, V'al HaMilchamot, right, and on the wars. So we have a recognition of that. But look what is in this next passage that you're going to sing. Nothing military at all. It's all very cute. Do you want to just take us through this?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I'm on the wrong page. Sorry. Hanar Talalu.
Where is it?
הנרות הללו אנחנו מדליקים על הניסים ועל הנפלאות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו, על ידי כהניך הקדושים. וכל שמונת ימי חנוכה, הנרות הללו קודש הם, ואין לנו רשות להשתמש בהם, אלא לראותם בלבד, כדי להודות לשמך הגדול, על ניסיך ועל נפלאותיך ועל ישועתך.
Right, so there's
I probably missed out all the words that you need to...
No, I mean, Milchamot are in there, I'm slightly wrong. But the emphasis is on this little miracle of light.
Right.
Which, let's face it, is a pretty small-scale miracle.
Correct.
Right? I mean, it's, what's his name? The Baba Sali is this kind of Indian fake guru who produces a kind of infinite amounts of ash. It's not a big deal miracle. And what's interesting is the rabbinic attention given to that, and certainly the way that miracle lives large in the minds, particularly of our children. And when we talk about Hanukkah, we talk about the miracle of the light. And I think that's because we're uncomfortable with the militarism of this. I mean, you know, that there's a suicide attack Eliezer runs underneath one of these elephants and stabs at the elephant. The elephant falls and everyone dies, but it falls on him.
Well, these also don't make for very good cheder lessons.
They're not cheder lessons.
Inspire the children to participate in the holiday.
Right. It's very zealotrous, and it went wrong, which I think is maybe interesting in itself. So we talk much more about the lights, and I think in that way we sort of gently signal a discomfort with the militarism of it, in a way that I think is really interesting. And actually, one last sense of the discomfort and the militarism. This is the Sim Shalom. It used to be called the Slim Shalom because it was the weekday conservative American Siddur, now with added commentary. But in the Ma'atzur, it gives you the Hebrew and the transliteration, but not a translation. And I wonder if, because the Ma'atzur, if you ever read it in translation, it's pretty violent. And I wonder if maybe they just decided, you know what, it's a little too violent. Let's just leave it out, which is an interesting call. You get the first verse translated, but not the stuff, and actually not the last verse of we get to kick everybody else's head in one day,
right.
Which maybe is not the best thing to think about. Maybe we should conclude on the light never goes out, right? It's a good one.
Yeah.
Happy Chanukah.
Happy Chanukah.